All right, it is that time. Let's call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Roll call, please.
Am I supposed to do this?
Yes, you're doing this.
Why am I doing this?
Because you're sitting to the left of me. Which means chair.
Bubba Davis,
Present.
Kevin Ricketson,
Present.
Jackie Boyd,
Present.
Robin May, says absent. Chris Reed,
Okay, so we do have a quorum. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda with a correction on item A and B of the minutes, because we do not have those, correct?
Correct.
So we will be striking those two from the agenda. So I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda less item A and B of section 5.
Also move.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of August the 21st, the special meeting. You should have all those in your handouts.
Are these things on me?
Not yet, because we haven't approved them.
So we have to sit here and read them?
If you want to read them. Yep. The first one, on August the 21st
This is a
one page.
Nancy Pelosi moment, but are we going to approve them and then read them?
You actually weren't here for some of them, so you might peruse them real quick, just to see what we were.
Oh, I can only imagine. I'm sure it was.
Glorious.
Was it glorious?
Glorious. Lively.
Was there any spitting, eye gouging?
Not yet.
No? Okay. Okay. Well, I'll move to approve.
Okay, so that's on August the 2nd, August the 21st meeting.
First, yeah.
All in, need a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the October the 2nd regular meeting.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I will entertain a motion to approve the November the 4th regular meeting minutes.
Oh, come on, somebody.
I'll make a motion to.
I'll second it. Gotta have variety.
All in favor, say aye.
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 And I have an issue here at this point, right now. Robin, what, you take care of that?
Take care of what?
That.
What is it?
Is that a spider there or something?
Yes.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Good boy.
Is there a way I can hook up that up top?
Because I included.
I couldn't understand what the hell you were talking
No,
about.
then I could
Have you
share.
been a rattlesnake? I was
Because I found the minutes,
spiders.
You're
So I could just share
online
screen.
somewhere.
but I couldn't find my notes.
Okay, sorry for the interruption.
Probably on my pants or something.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yes, it'd be.
Are you gonna be okay, big fella?
I was about to pull out the rocket launcher. All right, let's move on. Old business, A. Entertain a motion to discuss, or, no, we discussed it, but it's a variance request to a front yard setback on the property located within lot 49 of the Moreno Valley subdivision. What do we need to do at this point on this one, sir?
So, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, you had asked a number of questions at the last meeting. I did we get? I found them. I'm gonna put them on the screen. It says it's off. So you'll see. The first for the overlay. Call to order. No discussion. So let's go to the second.
Is that E?
Yes.
And it also says there about bringing buildings up to code when they're sold.
Right. There's nothing about the 50-foot setback, because it was in the overall package for the creation of this, of the overlay. But there's no real debate as to how you get to 50, right? So there was a public hearing. There was discussion about other building codes, which makes sense. Because if you remember, the overlay talks about architectural design, landscaping, view sheds and corridors. You don't want overhead doors facing Mountain View Boulevard. You don't want them facing Highway 64. You gotta be internal, that kind of thing. So, but I wanted to show you.
Was this during the general dollar store fiasco?
Before.
It was before that. Okay. But I
Before.
remember that now, because we did talk about not having any overhead and the parking in front and all that good stuff. Okay.
So this was the first hearing.
All right.
And then you go to the second hearing, which was basically the second reading. And no public comment. Ordinance approved 4-0. So I do believe you had people come in after the ordinance. So there's Family Dollar, Dollar General. If you remember.
But that's when we found out that we hadn't.
What does the ordinance say? Exactly. I guess I'm confused here.
So the ordinance that they adopted is what is listed online. It's the overlay district.
And you're saying they never mentioned the 50-foot in that?
They talked about the overall ordinance, right? But there was no specific discussion at the hearing about 50 feet. It was included in the overall ordinance. But there wasn't an explicit, hey, what should the setback be? Because that was included in the packet. This is what I was able to find from council records, right? There may have been a work session, but if you go online to the 2016 actual hearing where it was adopted, this is what you find.
So this was after we found out that the overlay district had no.
Was notified
Then
correctly?
it got, yeah, we did the notification, all that stuff. And then, so then this was ratified as is without any changes, even
Correct.
though this hearing, or this particular.
Right. So you notice on the screen, under purpose,
Yeah,
the last sentence, there's a parentheses, ordinance 2016-4, 712-2016. Those are the dates when the council enacted that piece of legislation. So that's where I went back to say, okay, well, what are the minutes? And so I shared with you what the minutes show, which says, hey, my assumption is they looked at it in total, talked about it, didn't make any amendments to it. They didn't say,
this is the village council.
village council, that's correct. I've gone back to the P&Z minutes. The P&Z agendas are available for 2016 that correlate with this action, but there's no minutes with those meetings, with that agenda. So the only minutes available are what you see online from the council here. So there wasn't a separate conversation about 50. I did also talk to Chuck Hasker. He was the planning director during this time. Chuck, how'd you come up with 50? I don't really remember.
So
So
Marco Rivera isn't around anymore, so.
What's the easement for?
It's not an easement, it's a setback.
For the setback?
Yes.
What's it for, just aesthetics? Not for future utilities or?
So all of the utilities are in the right of way between the fence and the road. There's 60 feet, that's where the water main is that the village put in, yeah. So if there's anything going back from the fence towards the mountain, that's a private utility, right? That's like the water sewer connection to your house or whatever. Public-wise, it's between the fence and the highway. This 50 feet, it was just in the overall bundle. I can't find a reason to why 50 was 50 and not 40, why 50 was 50, not 35. All I know is that if you look at the ordinance, it says we adopted it July of 2016, and here's the minutes from that meeting. So
there's no given reason for it, it was just stated in the package, and the package was approved as whole, with no
Yes.
discussion on the setback.
I will say that although we can't find anything of how 50 became 50, there have been other buildings that have been coming in since this was adopted. Judge Hill, you looked at a site plan for his new storage building in the back, right? It's not on Mountain View, it's on Freya, it's on Freya, right? He had to comply with the architectural standards and the landscape standards. It's kind of weird, but if you drive by, it's a red storage building with a gray stripe. Because the architectural standards say you can't be one solid color, you gotta have a break within 100 feet, right? But you also notice none of his doors swing towards Mountain View Boulevard or Freya, they all are internal, right? So you have buildings that have come in compliance with the other provisions of the code. But your question was, well, how do we get to 50? This is the best route of trying to find out, in addition to asking the former director, how did you get to this number? And there's not an encumbrance on utilities, because that's on the other side of the fence. So it really is.
So my next question is, say we grant something, you build a building there. Later on, we find out, oh, no, we gotta do something here. What's the remedy? Tear the building down?
Depends on what the issue is.
Stymied?
Depends on what the issue is, you know? But from a utility standpoint, there would be no conflict on the internal lot itself because all the public infrastructure is on the street to the fence side of the property. It's not on the inside of it. Yes. So if there was something internal to the property after construction, that would be a factor that happened to the property itself. You know, there might have been a artesian spring or something, who knows, right? But it wouldn't be a conflict on the public side because all of that's in the public space in front of the lot.
Okay.
So is there, I mean, this may be just boilerplate stuff that's thrown in there, and it, you know, most setbacks are residential anyway for privacy but is it a uniformity question, or what is it?
It's hard to say because underneath this is the C2 district, right?
Right,
And that's like a 20 or 25. But then as you go up Mountain View Boulevard, it goes C2, then it goes C1, then it goes to
Exactly.
R4, and those aren't uniform.
Right.
So even just on a practical side, because Mountain View Boulevard isn't one C2 district, right, or a
Right.
O1 district, you have some internal setbacks already because it's not a uniform zoning district, right? I think you get past the storage units and you get into an R3 maybe. There's something south of Agua Road between Agua Road and the storage units that's a residential district and it's surrounded by commercial. So there's not a uniform pattern up and down the road,
Right.
even on the internal setbacks, just on a straight zoning look at it, so.
but it's still in the overlay district,
Yes, it is.
so.
But there's no conformity all the way throughout.
So it sounds like it wouldn't be an issue to just go back to a standard 10-foot or whatever
If that's
setback
it.
is required for
Right.
whatever that zone.
If that's the discretion of this committee, yes. I mean, I felt there might have been more of an argument digging in the minutes to say, we want 50 feet because we want A, B, C.
To me, the whole, you know, that area has, you know, that obviously has some panhandle lots and a bunch of other weird stuff. To me, allowing for the highest and best use of the property and the space available for, that allows for reasonable snow storage, parking, et cetera. To me, I mean, buildings right up against the side would be kind of awful, but, anybody that's got a little feng shui in their architectural noggin can figure out how to make it balanced and not, I think giving them the latitude is what's important,
And I think
to
that's,
use the property effectively.
Well, I think too, though, that if you drive up and down the road here, there's already buildings that are in this setback, this 50, I mean, so that's why I asked, what's the remedy if you, in the future, have to do something?
There is
Because
no remedy.
then the setback is moved, because
Right.
they've already ruined it.
and that's
Well,
fair, I
it was,
think.
it was done before, it's not moved, and it wasn't ruined, and it wasn't any of that,
Well, they
and
render it moved. I mean,
quit the condescending remarks, please.
okay.
We're trying to settle this, and, with your remarks, and I will say this right now,
You're not gonna dress me
on
down,
this.
buddy. You're not gonna dress me down. I
I'm
can
not
say
gonna
what I
dress you
want to
down,
hear.
you're right, you can, and I can also ask for your resignation, because
I can
you're,
ask for yours,
You're right, you can.
because you aren't even attending these meetings.
I attended every one of them.
By
Mr.
phone.
Mr.
I can
Chairman,
share
with
with
that.
Mr. Chairman, if we could just
Please.
sit back, if we
We
just
get
sit
through
back.
this, we got plenty of time for.
Look, all I'm saying is that if there's no
Jeez.
remedy for these buildings that are already there.
There's not.
Then there's no point in maintaining this for anybody else, because you could never put anything continuous through there.
You're right, and it's all different things all the way down through it
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly.
So, in my opinion, it's not best use of the properties for anybody.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's fair that you asked the question to begin with, right? As a commission, you had this discussion at your last meeting, well, how did we even get here, right? I think it's a fair question to ask, to give staff some time to go, well, how did we get here? And this is just, I'm not altering anything, this is how you would find it out. You would go to the minutes, and if the minutes don't provide any clarity to it, then it gets to the point of what are you trying to create? You do have other buildings after this overlay, the Family Dollar, the Dollar General, but those lots are longer than this property. They're wider than this property. This property doesn't have the same benefits of some of these other parcels to just squeeze this back farther, that back farther. Dollar General is a lot wider than this lot.
Sure.
True Value came in afterwards, but True Value goes past this.
Way back.
It goes past the village lot. And so you really can't look at True Value made it work, yeah, but they're
No,
three
this
times
isn't
bigger.
a street front, Main Street,
Yeah.
everybody, yeah.
So I think it's fair
With
that,
zero setbacks on the sides.
I think it's fair you ask, hold it, let's get some more information. And this is what we've discovered, there's not a real rhyme to the reason. But I know Rick also received a bunch of other information that you had asked for about, the elevations and the floor
Right.
plans. Did you look at other configurations of how you could make it work? And, if you look at that, he's got, one of the ideas was a 3 or 4 story apartment building, right? 5,000 square foot off, commercial.
Those are the last 4 in the packet there.
Yeah.
But if you look at those, look at the detention ponds, right? Because now you got all this concrete and runoff. This site plan that you have has 33 units, which was the most that they could get for townhome development under all the scenarios. And it still provides commercial opportunity on that corner without splitting it up. It puts it into a one spot. So those were some details that you didn't have at the last meeting that you now have for this meeting. But I think this is a big part of your ask is,
There was
what
no
even
reason.
happened?
Yeah, there was no reason. It was just in there as an arbitrary number picked out, and somebody signed off on the whole thing.
The last thing I want to point out on this overlay is that in 2008, when the last time the village did its comprehensive plan, it talked about the need to create an overlay. That there were some inconsistencies architecturally, things of that nature. But it took 8 years to get to this ordinance. So the conversations in '08, I don't know how much really carried over, because you'll notice this wasn't adopted until 2016.
Right.
So that's all, Mr. Chairman. I think that was part of the ask that your committee had asked.
We appreciate the digging into all this and finding out how this all came about, and we appreciate that.
Sure.
So, anything else on the variance request? Does anybody have any?
I mean, everything else is tickety-boo, right? The conformity, the density, the blah, blah, blah. Everything else is
You're right,
appropriate for
the density proposed complies with the density
Right.
allowed.
I saw snow storage, I saw parking, so everything follows the ordinances as close as we can get. The
You asked-
architectural type, the buildings, the appearance, all that is, conforms to what we're,
You had changed your regulations in a site plan that you wanted to see landscaping as well. So you
Yes, right.
see that.
right?
There's flexibility in the landscaping if it makes more sense to group it over here instead of putting it all over there. So yes, you've got your landscaping shown, snow storage. It's got the circulation for emergency through the hammerhead, for all the
Fire
parking.
and all that.
Yeah, yes. The only thing that needed to come before you is that setback into the 50 feet. And it's not a 0, there's still 10, and I think there's an exhibit that Rick has that says it's like 60 feet from the actual road to the fence.
Yeah.
So it's not right, I mean,
And so with the commercial, potential commercial building, that has sufficient parking. I know most of the units have garages, so that plus outside parking and everything, so.
yes.
But it has, okay.
I know Rick had a bunch of other stuff that he prepared for you, so if you had other questions on his attachments that you got.
Everybody's got the, right? Yeah. Any questions on any of this? Any questions at all? Okay, so with that and do I hear a motion to approve the variance as set forth on the exhibit, the variance exhibit at the bottom right-hand corner, it says 01.
You do?
I do see that.
No, you do have a,
Oh, I do have an emotion.
Yes.
Okay, excuse me. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Perfect, thank you very much. Approved.
Is this the place where I can request that we review that 50 foot and just strike it from this?
I think what we should do on that is
And just go
is
back to
put,
what's uniform?
put it on the next agenda item, for next meeting to review and revise and conform the entire thing to one setback so that you had it all the way from beginning to end.
Well, we can discuss it more when it comes.
Right, but I think it
That's-
needs to be,
that's
it'd
the
be on
item.
the next agenda.
That's
I
the
agree.
item I sent for this agenda.
Yeah.
have you,
But that's okay. But I would prefer to go back to like what Santos said here, like whatever setback's relevant to however it's zoned.
Yeah, and try to be consistent throughout.
Yeah, I
Instead
mean,
of
this
50,
50
20,
looks to me
10,
like
5,
something that
4.
was, that tried some kind of consistency and where they got that number, who knows?
but there was a rationale in the zoning to begin with, so.
In theory.
Yes, there was a rationale for the zoning, this overlay came after that, right?
So the rationale should prevail in the setback based on the zoning and the purpose of whatever build we got going on there, or use, right? So it may have to go in and out and in and out, it may, but, I mean, that's a good discussion to have.
That is.
Do you foresee any other loopholes like this in our good old overlay district that,
Well,
or do we just find them as they show up before us?
actually, your next agenda item
It is part of it.
is a perfect segue into that
I'm
question
good
that
at
you just
segues.
asked.
All right, moving right along, new business. Hey, update on Village of Angel Fire comprehensive plan.
So, we have prepared and published 6 draft chapters for the comprehensive plan committee to look at. I've met with Greg Ralph. Chapter 7 draft is a tourism chapter. So he's doing his review to make sure I've said what people have been saying correctly. And so as those edits get finalized, so for example, Jeff Gilmer at the airport, there's an airport advisory committee, right?
No.
So there's a subcommittee that's been working on the airport with respect to this sponsorship change.
There is an airport.
There is an airport.
Okay.
The committee hasn't met since August.
Right. However, up to that point, they've been talking about what this transition would look like. So I prepared notes based on those conversations, send those to Jeff to say, did I say this right? Did I miss something? He's gone through it. I've then sent it to the committee to start sorting through their comments, right? And some of this is from the town hall meeting we had in June at the resort with the AFPO meeting, where people got to do these boards. There was a board for the airport. There was a board for all the working committees. So the next chapters I'm trying to get published is Parks and Trails. I met with Shay this afternoon to check her availability to go over these edits. Housing is going to be right after that. I met with the manager this morning. The 2008 comp plan had a tourism and economic development chapter combined. I met with Greg, and we kind of want to put those as two separate chapters. We don't want to combine them. And part of that is there's been a lot more data that we've collected about the employment sector by industry in the village, employment by who lives where in the village, that I think is helpful to start come up with an economic development plan on its own. So I'll give you an example. City of Albuquerque, everybody's saying, oh, people are leaving the city, population's declining, nobody's moving here. Overall, sure. But if you start drilling down to some of the industry sectors, like the high tech and people who work at the labs, those numbers, it's like 7th in the nation in growth, like behind San Francisco and Austin and all these bigger metropolitan areas. And so there's a strategy in Albuquerque to try to refine those opportunities for employment to keep that type of sector vibrant. So if you look at 2010, 2016, 2020, 2023 Angel Fire industry, it's really flipped over, and I think everybody has a feeling of how it's flipped. Like the industry, the construction industry sector, that's gone up 300% since 2010. The food and beverage industry, that's gone up 500% since 2010. You know, the accommodation and lodging industry, that's just flipped over because you got more people with Airbnbs and that kind of stuff, which is different from where it was 15 years ago. And then you take that same data and you can look at how many people over 25 are working in the village. And the census survey goes, well, where do you live? So you can come up with a number of who works in the village, that lives in the village, that makes over $3,300 a month, or $1,200 a month. Who works in the village but lives outside of the village, and how much do they make?
How does this survey or study or whatever you're quoting, how does that deal with the seasonality bias?
It's pretty uniform if you go back over time for 15 years to try to capture that. I think what you're seeing in 2022 and 2023 numbers, everything after COVID, that is going through the roof on the seasonal stuff. But it gives you a better idea of what industries should we be complementing in around these sectors, right? If we know we're having more people come in to visit and stay, what other things should we be trying to target and market for them to spend more GRT and lodger's tax, right? So I think to answer your question, to capture that, we go back further in time to get that comparison.
Because that's, in mountain village towns, that's huge.
Yeah, it
I mean,
is.
it's not, this isn't a stable economy that exists without the, you know, the vagaries of what the city and
But I
village
see the
is.
wisdom though in decoupling those two, because that might get you out of that cycle, or at least even it out a little bit if you.
If you take economic
Treat them a
development
bit
as a
differently.
standalone chapter compared to chapter with tourism and economic development, it kind of keeps you just focused on, well, we have to be a resort, got to get,
Construction, I will tell you, is also seasonal.
yes.
It's
But
less seasonal, but it's still seasonal.
Yeah,
Especially this year.
Yeah.
So there are some numbers, and what I can do is I'll email Rick the data that I have found in tables and charts to send out to you guys. We're starting this conversation with the comp plan committee to reconvene as people start going through and making these edits. We wanna continue to work with the department heads, right, make sure we're saying the right things the right way. And to also engage back with these committees that everybody's been engaged with. Your night skies, public health, it's really a quality of life chapter by itself. Your Firewise ordinance and defensible space, those three elements kind of make up that one chapter instead of a standalone. So it's been progressing into these drafts. One of the conversations that, to get back to Commissioner May's question, one of the conversations in the 08 comp plan was about the overlay, right? We should have an overlay. Well, with the revisions being proposed with this update, this whole conversation you've been having about this setback and all the other elements of this overlay, that also gives us a chance to go back to say, maybe we want more landscaping of buffers here on properties, or maybe we want more design elements, or maybe we don't want any of that, right? This is kind of where that conversation leads itself into, where you can make these recommendations on the zoning land use side of the village to start moving forward. So the last one said we should have an overlay. I think the update should be, let's look at where revisions should be made. So this is right up
Yeah,
the alley.
because things change, I mean.
Yes. No one's touched it since 08.
Right,
There's a lot that's happened.
there's a whole lot that's happened. So I think that should be looked at pretty hard. Is the overlay correct? Or did we miss it a little bit and change it?
And if the idea is to try to make things more uniform, how do we do that, right? Or what are the high value elements today as opposed to 2016 or 2008? I mean, you didn't have sidewalks until 4 years ago on Highway 434 at all. And there's a transportation chapter that talks about, hey, now we've got sidewalks, maybe we should have better crosswalks, right? Because you didn't have those either, because you didn't have sidewalks. Well, what is it that we should also be looking at, how it relates to other chapters, the overlay?
And it also is gonna relate to how the airport is actually gonna be run and coming in with planes and more.
What do you want
tourism
people to
into
see when they get off the plane?
that. Right,
So the aviation chapter talks about the maintenance to the hangar, a new hangar, all these other upgrades for parking and security, you know. But once you leave the airport, you're in the village, right? What other things
What do
do
you
we
see?
need to be having available for people? All of that gets wrapped into this, that I think you can manage it pretty well.
any other questions on that? Thank you, Santos.
Sure.
Next item, B, planning and zoning staff and directors report. On that, I know we need to look at, replacing one person in my opinion, and that would be, who is that? We'll just talk about,
It's almost me.
no. And I apologize for not figuring that out sooner, Robin. Who was that? Anyway, he's on the thing, but I've only seen him once.
Is that
Oh,
Chris
Chris
Reed?
Reed.
Chris Reed.
Reed I mean, and that's the only time I've seen him, one time.
I can't even put a face to the name.
So I think we do need to look at putting another person, at least one more on.
Your bylaws recommend you give a nomination to the mayor.
Okay.
So if one of you guys come up with a name to see who's available.
Right, so I would, I think we need to remove Chris, and put something to the mayor for an additional person on the board. So y'all think about it long and hard, and who would serve the community.
It may sound weird, but you could nominate two, because it would also be nice to have an alternate.
I agree with that.
If somebody was a designated alternate to know, hey, I can be available to
Right.
help you make quorum,
Secretary?
and One of you needs to decide who's gonna be the secretary, yes.
We used to have an alternate, you remember that?
Drummond.
Yeah. So I think we should do that, I think we should.
Replace Mr. Reed and get an alternate.
Right, replace that and get an alternate, so think about who would help serve as a board, and the community. Anything else we wanna add to that?
I could give you my numbers, you guys wanna hear the
Yes.
numbers? We ended up with 151 permits for 2025.
Is this full, brand-new building permits?
So no, it's a mix with encroachment, fence, sign, that's total permits. I can get a breakdown for you guys if you'd like, as each individual type.
Okay.
It's up from 129 from 2024, but we did towards the end of the year start adopting the encroachment permits. That was previously done through the streets.
Yeah, if we could get one that kind of breaks it out, encroachment, new
Okay.
builds, stuff like that, I think that'd be good.
And we got 4 new ones so far this week for 2026, so that's
4 new building permits?
yes, there's a couple decks. I believe one of them's a fence. But, start, for the first week, we got 4. And I came in with Reggie's spreadsheet, so it looks like there's, I'm not 100% sure, because some of the dates on his lot combos were from 24, and one was even from 23, so it's around 40 to 43 lot combos now for 2025. Like I said, I'm not sure, because he created that spreadsheet, and some of them have the older dates on there.
Okay.
So they might have been from older, but they just completed in 25. Santos is working with the GIS, and he said by the end of January, we should be able to get that out to the public, to where they can log on, see, roads, see each individual parcel. And by that, also, we could get that distributed to other departments, our police department, fire department, streets, water, because we have all that information, we have the wells, the hydrants.
You think within a month?
He said, but by the
Yeah,
end of the
they
month,
said
we should be able to get that up, because they've been working on it.
For the public portal, they're gonna look at zoning, parcels, streets, and the village boundary. They could get that within the month, they said.
Awesome, then.
From the departments, we're still having conversations. The fire department has said, hey, we want all of the hydrants, give them an address, put them on your map, and they did. We're not sure if the police department needs anything else on this map, or Public Works needs anything else on this map. But there'll be an internal view for those departments to look for their infrastructure inventory. But as far as the public goes, yes, UNM said they could try to get that by the end of the month.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's good.
And then, you click on it and it shows you what everything's zoned, so if they have a zoning question, they just hop on there and see, hey, I potentially wanna buy this, what is this zoned? They'll be able to do that.
Is it gonna show ownership or just lot?
We don't have that data from Colfax County.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we do. I think we just have the parcel boundary, right?
Yeah.
Yes, just
Onyx
the parcel.
Hunt has it, and
And
half of it's right.
yeah,
and
some
half
of
is
it's
wrong.
there and some of it's not.
It's weird, because it changes frequently.
So I think from our perspective, the parcel boundary is the most important. So we get the zoning right,
Right.
and the street that it's on.
That's
But
the key.
I
And the
don't,
fire hydrants is
yeah,
huge.
I don't know how we get,
Only
It's-
if they work.
I don't know how I'm not sure how we'd have to, cause I think they go through ArcGIS, I don't know if we'd have to talk to them. I'm not sure how that would come
Yeah.
about. And it's always changing too, so it's kinda hard to keep up with, cause I know that's why Onyx ain't updated. Just 'cause I used to work for the county, so I know every time it would change, that's why Onyx is kinda behind.
Yeah, because they had
To
me
get
right,
them.
and then they changed it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So I'm not sure how that process works.
Would it be possible to get like a demo or a run-through before we would release it to the public?
For you guys? Yeah,
At the next meeting or something? I mean,
we could.
Right there it is.
okay, all right. I just kind of wanted, because when you roll this out, people are gonna see some of this, they're gonna have questions, and I wanna be able to answer some of their questions without saying, I haven't seen that thing or something.
Of course.
so for example, right now, that's Olympic Park, that's supposed to be an 03, and for whatever reason, the update shows it as blank, so So this is the last round. I think we shared with you that we were making updates to, like the Girl Scout Ranch was labeled commercial and it's an 06, right? So that's been corrected. Allen Fields, we met this afternoon, just what are the boundaries of it? That's supposed to be an 04, so that got updated.
So it's gonna still be a work in progress, finalizing everything, but it'll be really close to right on.
And I think this was it, what I just did on the screen for you, I think that was the last, because all the other zoning districts seem to have been updated. So there's Girl Scout Ranch, the green,
Yep,
Allen Fields, the green.
okay.
The RV park was actually an 04, not an R3 by ordinance, it lists the RV park, so that's been updated. The horse stables down here, that's correct as an O, so
What about the new subdivision with the affordable housing
So
or workforce housing?
that's really the last piece, because if you look at the parcel, that parcel didn't pop up. If you remember, it's an upside down L, right? If you look on the map, there's not an upside down L, and I talked to UNM, because they were supposed to have the most current parcel layer, so I think that is going to be the last zoning update. So if you remember, 6 years ago, the resort rezoned the property behind Lowe's to allow casitas by right,
Right.
make it an R7, and it's the only R7, well, here you go, there's R7, right there, right behind Lowe's,
Yep.
right along the green belt. So, I
So
think we're one parcel away from being updated on the zoning, which is great,
That's awesome.
but all the other layers that people have requested from fire and public works,
Utilities and all that stuff.
but ideally, this will be a standalone. When you go to the website, you click and you'll get 3 options. What's the streets, what's the zoning, and you can drill down and, oh, that's an 01, or that's a R3, or whatever. And then you could go to the zoning ordinance to figure out what does that give me the right to do.
Okay, cool.
And
We
he's
have-
also gonna work to put the roads on there, so it says, cause right now you have to click on the road to
To see what it's
identify it.
named, yeah.
But he's working on putting, so it just reads it. As soon as you open it up, it reads what that road is,
Perfect.
instead of having to click on it.
Cool.
Far for me, I'll get you guys a breakdown of what permits were what, and, I got everything flipped over in my office, so I'm ready for 2026. And that's really all I have right now.
Cool. Anybody else got any questions, comments?
So,
concerns?
yeah, from one of our previous meetings, and I don't know if you guys have even looked at this or not, we had talked about trying to put together us going to some of these other meetings, these other committee meetings to help get a better handle on the comprehensive plan. I sent a couple of documents out there, I don't know if you've even looked at them or not, or, yeah, but,
I forgot to mention that on the comp plan update. But still, you're absolutely right. Some interaction with this group and the other committees is, I think, critical. Yes. I mean, if you guys want to just go through the committees and just pick, I'm interested in aviation or Parks and Recs, whatever, that's helpful for us, just as easy.
Yeah. I think we should look at it and kind of see where,
I used to be on Parks and Recs and Trails.
Does
And
anybody,
Lodgers Tax. I didn't want to.
I think that's called an ombudsman, right? Where
No.
you're just all of it. But Mr. Chairman, I do think that level of engagement by this committee, before it gets to you, would be helpful, so that when it does get to you, you've got,
We're not shocked.
yeah.
we can see what.
So if you just wanna,
so do you want to produce something else? Do you want to look at what I put together? What do you want to do there?
Did I get that?
I have no
you
idea.
said, do they have your correct email?
Yes, they do now.
They do now?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
this-
to the best of my knowledge.
You got
You
the,
sent it to my email.
I just sent it to the group here,
Yeah, so, there you go.
it's like a reply.
I think we should look at it and have some time to ponder on it and see what we want to do. I know I've been trying to help with the fire department, so.
Could you
On
resend
there.
that?
so that new defensible space ordinance and the Firewise committee that's ongoing, I mean, that seems like a natural fit if you want to jump into that, Mr. Chairman. I'd also say, on Kevin's suggestion, you don't have to pick just one, right? You can pick whichever ones you like, but I will say, since we're going into this draft provision of chapters, it'd be kind of nice now to see what's going on there.
All right.
I'll email you guys a breakdown of that.
Okay, thank
I'll
you.
email you the whole, I know I
Yeah, if
told
we
you
could
about it.
get the schedule without having to pick and poke in the website, that'd be good.
Denise. All right. Very last item, adjournment. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Always.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What time is it?
346.
3:40.
Good job.
So it is interesting that all the other comp plans really start in 1986. Here's the village